The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this week. My name is Tanya, and I'm the Marketing Manager over here at Struxoft Solutions. So just for those of you who are new with us today, our Star Solution MWF, or Metal Wood Framer, is our Revit-based BIM framing solution that allows users to automate Revit walls, floors, ceilings, and trusses in light gauge steel and also in wood. So today our technician Thais will be doing a short but sweet webinar. She'll be walking you through our modular tool in the walls module of MWF. So we'll be covering how to create Revit groups after panelizing walls, how to panelize walls in existing Revit groups, copy member on all identical groups command, copy members from group command, which numbering option to choose for your panels, and also multi-layer modular tool options. So just before we get going, I'd like to remind everyone that at the end of the webinar, we'll be taking a couple of questions that have been submitted through the chat. You can submit these questions by typing into the questions tab of the GoToWebinar dashboard. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to hand off to Thais now.
Thank you, Tanya. Hello, everyone. So as Tanya mentioned, today we are going to take a look at our options here under modular. So the modular tool will be in our walls module. I'm going to start by going to our first level because I already have some Revit groups here. So I'm just going to zoom in. As you can see, we have an already created Revit group. And what I want to do now is I want to create my panels for this group here. So the first thing to be mindful is that if you select the whole group and you go ahead and try to create your panels, it's not really going to work. So you have to get and select the actual wall to be able to frame correctly. So if you hover over here, you're going to see you have the group. And then if you hit Tab in your keyboard, you will be selecting only the wall. And then I would hit Tab again and Control to add this wall as well. And then you will repeat this process as many times as you need to select all of your walls that are that belong to the Revit group. And once you're done, then you can come here and create your panels. If you do have already a template map, you can always use the quick create, of course. It will be the same process as a regular panel creation. So you can, of course, use the quick create. But because I don't have any template maps here, I'm just going to click on create. I'm going to refer to my default light gauge template. Click OK and create. So it will take a little bit of time while it's generating. We're first going to go over the first option that we have under modular tool, which is create panels on all identical groups. So there you go. Now I have my panels. And then what I want to do is I want to push this panels to my other groups here. And they are all identical groups. So if I, again, select my group here, this is group 1.1. These are the same. So they are identical. It's very important. It will push the changes only to the same group. So it has to have the same name. So it would have the same panels, okay? So I'm going to select my group that has the panels. And I'm going to come to modular. And I'm going to use this first option here, copy members on all identical groups. So once I click there, we will have this dialog box popping up. You're going to have some options here. The first one will be to set your numbering, your panel numbering. So the first option is to set it as to be the same as the original. So this means that it will get the numbering from the original panels that I'm referring to. So all of them, they will still be panels 166, 67, and so on. They will have the same number. if I choose to select the second option here to keep numbering, it will just continue numbering your panels just like a regular panel creation. You would not get the same number twice. So which one to choose? It will really be up to you and what is the best workflow for you. If you select the same as original, this means that because you're going to have the same numbering, when you generate your shop drawings, you will be generating a shop drawing only for one panel. And of course, this makes a lot of sense because they are the same panel exactly, so they are identical. And it wouldn't make much sense to have two shop drawings with the exact same panel. You can just have it once and know that you would have to generate that panel twice or 4 times, but the drawing will be one. Or if this doesn't work for you and you want to keep numbering, then in this situation, you will be able to have as many shop drawings, one shop drawing per panel. So it will be the normal process. So even though they're identical, you will be able to create shop drawings differently for all of the panels. So it will depend on what is best for your workflow. So for now, I'm going to select the continue numbering. This second option here to set the source panel as a parent, this is, I'm going to talk about it while we are creating the panels because it takes a little bit of time too. But if you check this off, it will basically set this portion here, all of these panels as parents, and the other ones, they will be children of these panels here. So for now, I'm not going to check this option. I'm going to leave it unchecked. I'm going to hit OK. If it's unchecked, it will just create the panels, but they will not have any relation to the first sets of panels that I have here. So this will not be a parent. These will not be children from this parent. If I check that option off, what will happen is that these will be the parents, the other ones will be children, and they will be locked. So all the children will be locked, and in case you have to make some changes to your panel, you will have to unlock the panels. And what happens when you do that is that it breaks the groups. So that option, it's only to be used in case you are very 100% sure that you're not going to change anything else in your project. Because if you have to go back inside one of the panels and you have to change something, it would mean that you would have to unlock the panels, and then you will be breaking the groups. So that's not ideal. So we usually recommend you not to use this option. It was created for a very specific client with a very specific workflow. So that's why it's there, and of course everyone can use, but it's very important to be mindful of that all the panels will be locked except for the parent one. The other thing to note is that even though you can make changes to the parent, for example, because it will be the only one that it's not locked, but this change will not be pushed to the other ones that are locked, even if you use the option that we will go over, that it's called match properties. So that's the only issue. So I would use that only if you're 100% sure that you're not going to change anything else. In that case, you can use it. If not, you can use the you can not uncheck that option and just have it like we have it here. So as you can see, my panels got generated. They are exactly the same as my first group here. They are not locked, so in case you need to change something, you can just go ahead and change it. Let me go to a 3D view. So let's say, for example, if I want to change something here in this panel specifically, if I go here to my panel's properties, and let's say I want to add some horizontals. So I'm just going to come here to horizontals. I'm going to quickly set this thing up. Let's select a family. Let's add 2 rows of horizontals and just click on add, close, and OK. So you can change any information that you need for in your panel. The panels are not actually part of the group. The group, the Revit group is one thing, and the panels are, even though they are hosted in the group, they are not part of the group itself. So you can just make changes in case you need. It will work exactly the same. You can add extra verticals, you can add joins, you can add markers to your windows. Everything will be pushed to the other groups when you run the command. And then let's say after generating all the panels, I did some changes like I did here. I added some horizontals. And let's say I want to add this, push this information, this update my panels accordingly to what I'm seeing here. So I want to push these settings to the other panels. What I can do is I can come here to modular, and I can use this second option here to match properties on all identical groups. So in this one, if I click on this one right now, it will push the changes to all of my identical groups. So this wall will have the horizontals, this wall, and also this panel here. The second option that I have is to match properties from group. And I will use this one instead of using this because this will also take some time. So it's the same principle here for copying all in all identical groups. So it's the same for matching properties. So let's try this one. For this, I actually need to select the group. So I want to select the group that doesn't have any changes, and I will come here to match properties from group. And then I will select, you can see in your bottom left of your screen that it asks me to select the model group to copy from. So I want to copy from this one. Click OK. You will have this dialog box again. You just have to click OK. Don't change anything here because it can interfere with the process if you change anything there. And then it will just add my horizontals to my other group as well. So as you can see, now I have here my horizontals. So it will push any changes. I only did change to this panel, but if I were to make some other changes to the other panels, it would push these changes as well. So it will be everything all at once. All the changes that I have in this group will be pushed to this one. And then I'm gonna come here to my second level. And I'm going to demonstrate a second option that we have when we generate panels for Revit groups. So in this situation here, I already have some panels here in my walls. And let's say what I want to do, I already have my walls panelized, but I do want to create a group. What I can do is I can mass select everything. I want to go to my filters. And as I mentioned before, the panel, it cannot be part of the group, of the Revit group. So I want to actually uncheck these three options here. So everything that is structural, it is related to the MWF panel, you would have to uncheck and just leave it checked, the doors, the walls, windows, and openings. So I'm gonna click OK. And I'm gonna come here to create a new group. And this one will be called group 2.1. Click OK. And now I have my group created, and I want to just copy paste it. Maybe I'm gonna mirror it. Take this too. And then as you can see, the panels, they are not part of the group. So I'm only mirroring and copy pasting my walls, my actual group. So it's not related to the panels. If you by accident just mass select everything and create the group like that, it will probably break the panels, okay? So you will not be able to enter properties. If you try to use modular, it will not really work. So that's why it cannot be part of the groups. It will be in the group, but not part of it. Okay, so let's say, let's take a look at the second option. We saw the match properties from group. Now let's try the copy members from a group. It's the same principle. It will be the other way around. Instead of copying to all of them, I am selecting a specific one, and then I will say from which group I want to copy from. So let's say I want to panelize this group here, and I want to leave these two empty. So I will come here to modular again. I would select the copy members from group. It will ask me again in your bottom left. It will be asking to select the group to copy from. It will be this one. And again, you will have this dialog box popping up. So let's try the same as the original for the numbering. So it will get the same numbering as these panels here that we see. And then it will just generate panels for that specific group. So it will not panelize the other two. Even though it is the same group, it will remain empty. So one situation that you can use that is, well, first option would be if you did something like exactly what I did here, if you don't want for any reason to panelize the other groups, or if you by any chance already ran the tool and you already have several groups panelized, and then let's say you have to add another one. So you would have to copy paste and add another empty group, and you have to panelize only that one. So you don't want to run copy members on all identical groups again. First of all, it will take a lot of time, and also it's not very good to rerun the tool because it will break the other existing panels. So you may have some issues if you do that again for the same group, if you already have panels for those groups. You may experience some panels disappearing, some members being misplaced. So in case you forgot or you have to add an extra group and you have to panelize only one, it's always best to use the copy members from group. Or even if it's you have to add 2 more or 3, you can go over the process 3 times using this one instead of using the first one here. This one will not work if you already ran for that specific group. The other thing that you can do is also delete the members. So in case you're not sure anymore if you're dealing with the same group, if you're not sure if you can run the copy members on all identical groups, or if you should use the copy from group, what you can do also, in case you have big changes in your project, you can delete the members. So it will delete all the members in those specific groups, and then you can create again. You can also do that. So I think that's it for the options that we have for the standard panels. So this is for single layer. And then we have 2 options for multi-layer panels. So if I zoom in here, I already have 2 walls here that are multi-layer. I have set my mapping here already, so I can just select them and quick create. So for a multi-layer, we don't have as much options as we have for standard panels. We only have 2 options. You can either copy on all identical groups or copy from group. So you don't have the match properties and you don't have the delete from all groups option that we saw here. Okay, so I generated my panels. As you can see, I have some sheathing here. So I'm going to create a new group. So I'm going to go over the same process again. Just going to select my doors and walls, and that's it. Leave the panel out. And then I'm going to come here and create a new group. So this one will be 2.2. Perfect. And then I'm going to copy paste this group here. And if you use by any chance this one by mistake, it will work only for the structural layer. So you won't have the sheathing, but you're still gonna have the structural layer. You're not gonna get any warnings. So it is important to be mindful. If you notice that you don't have the sheathing coming through, it's probably because you use the modular option here instead of using the multi-layer option here. So for the multi-layer, it would be under operations. Here at the bottom, you can see that we have the copy members to all identical groups. And we have the option to copy members from group. These are the same as the ones that we saw for the standard panels. So I can just select this one. And in the multi-layer case, it will just generate automatically. You're not gonna have that window, that dialog box popping up. So you can't really select what is the numbering method that you want to use. It will just keep numbering. So it's not gonna be this, you don't have the option to have the same numbering. And you also don't have the option to set this group as a parent and this one as a child. But you still can just quickly create your panels. If we go here to a 3D view, you're gonna see, let me hide this. So you can see that I have my sheathing, I have my sheathing here as well, and everything is the same. Also, in case you have, I believe I already mentioned this, but in case you have extra studs, joints, or any opening markers, this will also be placed in the same location. So it doesn't matter if you mirrored or if you rotated the group, it will still be in the same place. So the only thing that it's also very important to be careful, it's about the levels. So the tool will work for all the levels that you have in your project. So I did it by level. I created my groups by level. And I recommend you to do the same, to work by level, even though the tool works for the entire project. So if you have group 1 in level 1, but you also have group 1 in level 2, 3, or 4, when you run the tool, you will be creating panels for all of those groups. However, when you do that, it can be really hard to control. You can lose track of your groups. And in some occasions, it can happen that you will have duplicates and you may modify one group and not modify the other one. And then you can start to have some conflict data in your project. So for you not to lose track, I would recommend you to create, even if the group is exactly the same physically, I would still create with different naming. So group 1, group 2, like I did here, because it's easier to control and to keep track of your groups and what you did to one of them or not. We do have another cool tool here under the modular, that is the group panel manager. So in case you will get this warning, in case you have too many groups, it may take a little time to open. But in case you did lose track of your groups, or in case you're not sure why you may be experiencing some issues, you can track them here in the group manager. So you will have a list of all of your groups. As you can see, it shows which level the group is located. Once you click on it, you will see that you will be able to see which panel exactly you're selecting. So it will highlight in your project. And you will be able to see the panel name here. So in case you do have any duplicates, or in case something is not really working, you can just check the list and see if by any chance you had a duplicated group with different panels or vice versa. And then in case you do, you can always come back here and delete the members and start over again. Okay, so I think that it is it for the modular command. Let's see with Tanya if we have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Thais. So as she just mentioned, we have time to answer a couple of questions. So if you have not done so already, please go ahead and type into the questions tab of the GoToWebinar dashboard. And just while we wait for any potential questions to come through, I'd just like to remind everyone that the recording of the presentation will be sent through tomorrow. As always, please feel free to share the recording with any colleagues. And also, if you're looking for the recording right away, it'll actually be posted on our, across our social media channels a little later today. All right, I'm just going to take a second to see if there's any questions that came through. All right, Thais, there was one. Will the panels update if I edit the Revit group?
Yes, it will. So it will basically be the same as if you didn't have a group. In case, for example, you come here to this group and let's say you have to move this wall a little bit. I'm gonna click OK. So let's say this happens. You can just regenerate your panels. You would have to select them like I did before. So you have to tab and manually select each wall. And then just, in this case, it's a multi-layer, so regenerate will be here, and then just regenerate. So it will work as if it was just a regular wall. The panel will be updating accordingly to the wall profile. And of course, this change will be pushed to the other groups in case you just have to select the walls and then regenerate the panels again. And it will be, so you will have to do the same process for this one, but it will update just like this one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I'm just going to give it another second to see if there's any other questions that have come through. All right, well, that looks like that's a wrap for today. So if there are any follow-up questions after the session has closed, please feel free to give us a shout. If you'd like to set up a one-on-one demo or, you know, as I said, if you have any follow-up questions, our emails, our contact details for our sales team as well as our support team will be provided along with the recording tomorrow. So I just want to say a big thank you to Thais and also thank you to everyone who registered and attended. We'll now be ending the webinar. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tanya. Have a nice day.